Okay, we have a Sengoku Jidai battle. I am playing the Koreans defending a fortified position against Kiwi warlords, Japanese invaders attacking. Um, so that's with my other recordings so far. This began recording when I started the channel, which was after I started this game. So we missed force selection and deployment, but we're still in the opening stages of maneuvering, so we haven't missed too much. So it looks like Kiwi is driving hard for my right, which is probably a good call on his part. So I will need to turn everybody around as I deploy pretty hard to the left to sort things out. Looks like he might manage to pin these light horsemen in, so instead of rushing further down to the left, I'm going to switch tacks and shuffle off and attempt to get behind his army. Now, these are all allied generals. He has to have a commander-in-chief in a honjin, which is basically a like fabric walled outpost of bodyguards somewhere. My guess is hidden. Oh, there we go. That's a bug that I'd never noticed before. Actually, might need to point that out to Richard. Anyway, if I can get over there and snipe his general, that has a disproportionate effect on the rout percent. The flip side is that if I don't, then Japanese armies are disproportionately strong against routing effect. So we'll form a battle line more or less here. Cavalry support in somewhat more open ground. And if it looks bad, we can consider redeploying to fight for the forest, but that would perhaps be a recipe for getting shot to pieces. Now, most of the troops I have hiding within the fortifications either don't have heavy weapon melee or are raw or both. So they're generally not really suited for anything other than fighting from behind fortifications. But if the situation gets dire, we might need to send them out to attack anyway. So we'll see what happens next. Next turn. It will at least take him a little while to maneuver into position. The earlier Japanese armies, even the Ashigaru, are warriors, and they can move 2 squares diagonally. But these later Japanese armies, the Ashigaru, are medium foot, so they move at the same slower speed as my own foot. Kind of beginning to second guess myself. Maybe I should push this wing across, but I've already turned them. Yeah, so these are impact foot swordsmen with bow. So in Field of Glory 2, swordsmen are have their POA halved when fighting spearmen that are steady. In Sengoku, swordsman is negated entirely by spearmen that are steady. So I really have to hope to either disrupt the samurai with bow and musket fire before impact, or that the impact foot disrupts them. If not, we're in for a tough time, particularly these average ones. So they're average, that's a 50 POA deficit, and they're unarmored. So I believe that would be another 50, or at least 25. We can check, I suppose. So 50. So against steady samurai spearmen, they would be at a 200 POA deficit, I think. The spearmen will get 100 for being spears, 50 for quality, and 50 for armor. So it's not going to be easy. And then with these 50% heavy weapon guys, the heavy weapon is 100 impact versus any foot, attacking or defending. So that's good. Although, unlike spears, they don't negate swordsman quality. They also negate armor and get this overlap bonus for large units. So even the 50% heavy weapon units get 100 points of action, or points of advantage in melee. The only difference, excuse me, the only difference in melee between a 50% heavy weapon unit and a full heavy weapon unit is that they only negate armor halfway. So for this unit, fighting a samurai spear unit, we get plus 15 for overlappers and 100 for heavy weapon, and we would negate 25 of their armor. So we would still be at a pretty severe disadvantage due to the quality and armor deficit. But I do have more men, and I do have this light cavalry, so we will see how this goes. Next turn. Okay, the way he's moving, we're going to have to make a decision soon to either withdraw into this forest and abandon the edge of our fortifications, or extend our line outward to support the cavalry and also abandon the fortifications. Which is not unexpected. I didn't think he would be foolish enough to take them on head on. I just hoped he would. Yeah, at this point I don't really have a plan. But we still have a little space to improvise. I might end up seeing if I can just pull these horsemen back and maybe try to get back out this way and behind. And it might be the best call to withdraw deeper into the forest here. If I hold out on the edge of the forest, most of my units only have half firepower and would be disordered, so they would get outshot by these full units of Matchlock men in particular. But if I were to withdraw deeper into the forest, then to come to grips with me, they would be disordered and could be charged by the heavy weapons, and the spearmen would be useless in the woods anyway. So that might be the way I am inclining, but again, we have a little bit of time to make up our minds. Next turn. Yeah, I think we'll have to abandon the notion of utilizing these fortifications at all and withdraw into the forest. Move my cavalry around this way if I have time. We have the rather odd problem of not having enough forest to shovel our units in. He can see those fallback icons through the forest. I don't believe that was ever addressed, but not really a big deal. I think it's pretty clear what I'm doing at this point. I think we will ultimately aim for a stand along this line. And we will probably want to have our monks, which we only have a couple of units, I believe. Yes. 3 units. We'll probably want to have our monks lining this open area here to take full advantage of their impact abilities. Okay. And next turn. Okay, he's turned about to face me, so these units here should not advance further because they need to be able to withdraw back into the fortifications if necessary, or at least this little bit here. Okay. This might be a complete waste of time. They're elite, so they won't break till they're down to like 80 men or something. And they're well armored. But maybe it'll get him to come out and do something. We really have nothing better to do at the moment anyway. And next turn. Next turn. That makes sense. I should be able to see these typical samurai off in open ground, but if they take cover in the rice paddies, I'll have some difficulties. Right, we will continue our very brave strategy here. We need to get this mess sorted out. Rather ridiculous, but I might as well. Well, he's already forced me out of my fortifications, but we might be able to do well in the forest fighting. And hopefully I'll be able to ride these horsemen on an epically long ride this way. Although with only 13 turns to go, maybe that's foolish. Maybe I want to keep them here. I'll make up my mind later. And next turn. Oh god, run away. You know, this wing of his army is actually a little squishy. Although it will be unfortunate if he marches through here, he'll actually be utilizing my own fortifications against me. Looks like those typical samurai are on their way. But we can throw more lights in that direction. I feel like 4 lights should be able to take on 2 typical samurai. And in the meantime, we'll just keep doing this. Ooh, disruption. Still can't charge, they're in a village, so my lights would have no chance whatsoever. Plus, the Korean light horse are average or raw quality, and they have no swordsman trait, so they really are useless unless their enemies are fragmented. We can show our hand with the monks now. Okay, this is all getting very confusing. I really need to get this mess sorted out. Just get these guys back. Okay. Starting to get this figured out. Trying to decide if I want to push these forward or just accept the whole battle's going to be fought here. If I do accept the battle being fought here, I'll probably want to turn these around and form a secondary layer. Or I could just sit here, I suppose, and try to avoid the range of these fortifications, arc wide around. That'll be time consuming. If I am going to do that, I should wait to do it. If I start doing it now, he'll just turn around and catch me in the open, and it'll all be over. That's good for now. I'm not feeling too wonderful, but there is a clock ticking for him. He's got 12 turns to defeat me, so he won't have time to get formed up all nice and orderly before pushing in. That could help me out. And next turn. His spearmen can't really do much to me in the forest. They'll be severely disordered, but outside the forest they can cause considerable damage. And his bow samurai can do pretty good work in the forest as well. They're superior armored bow swordsmen. Now we have got a fragment. That's a little unfortunate. That's very unfortunate. Hopefully we can break them before these dragoons come and hit us in the rear. I suppose we'll want to shift over to cover for that eventuality. Run away. Just run away. Continue to run away. Okay. Right. We're going to form our second line a little further back. Just so we don't cause some kind of chain route situation. And we'll wait one more turn to get a move on with this force here. And they will arc wide around. Very cowardly, I know, but we are on the defensive and we are somewhat outnumbered, so I'm going to forgive myself. And after all, they're supposed to be the honorable ones anyway. Okay. Yes, it's... He might manage to rescue his commander. That would be pretty unfortunate for me. Okay, so they are funneling into our own fortifications. So what units we have here are going to have to go wide around. Damn. This is really quite bad. Gonna have to rush more cavalry into the fray. If this unit charges me and I evade, this unit could be exposed to earlier charge. I should have just sat there and kept shooting. Well, take a chance and you pay for it. Okay. Let's start the long trek to the right for our horsemen, hopefully in time to do something other than run away from the battle and abandon their comrades to their deaths. Silver lining is that his missile troops are quite far from my exposed monks in this rice paddy. I do wish these were Matchlock men. You'll have to do it. This Korean army really is not my favorite. Half range, half heavy weapon is nice and all, but so many raw troops, and that gives you numbers, but raw troops are just awful. Alright, we'll see if this Honjing falls. That would be nice. Next turn. Get the break. 12%. Not bad. Yeah, that's what we pulled out of the first layer of the wood there. We only have to hold out for 9 turns. So we don't need to do anything reckless. Turn this line around. Just get these guys out of here. Then we'll either arc around or just sit over here. It's not great to shoot into our own fortifications. That feels humiliating, but it might be the best use for them. See if we can hunt these samurai down. Okay, over here, we'll want to do that. There's no sense shooting because we have melee capability and they do not. let's see here. Okay, interesting. So it looks like because our melee capability is heavy weapon, we cancel out their armor entirely. I had thought that I only canceled out half their armor because half my men had it, but I guess all the heavy weapon men are presumed to be in front for melee combat. Okay, this is good. The fight is in the forest, it is in our favor. Alright, so that is the situation. Onward. Alright, so these units are locked in. You'll have to go wide around to make any progress. Now we need only hold for 8 turns. Okay. Maybe I will actually get to use these horsemen. So yes, he's lining the fortifications, so we will stay just out of range. There we go. Not a big deal, they're just going to run away, but it's something. So the light horse and the regular horse will push back here. It could get a little bit dicey against the Yeti Samurai, the mounted Yeti Samurai, as my cavalry have no impact capability. We can evade, but if we get caught, it'll be gruesome. So this is going to be a problem once he does engage. He has a superior unit of swordsmen. Swordsmen don't get impact, but in the woods it's muted by the disorder that both units are under. Luckily, there are a few advantages, even though my unit is raw. It is large, so if it survives a few rounds of combat, it'll start getting a unit size modifier in its favor. And it is using heavy weapons, so at least the armor won't count against it. And in any case, this unit is cheap, so if it collapses, hopefully it won't infect its neighbors, and we'll be able to just plug the gap with one of these 3 reserve units we have, which are also all raw, but what can you do? Okay, it's looking good. Next turn. Next turn. This will be bad. Hopefully it won't be bad too quickly. So as long as we can hold firm, we can eventually gain the edge in this melee. Let us continue to delay here. So all we need to do is delay. So this is interesting. In melee, we would essentially be even because although the later Teppo Ashigaru are armored, matchlocks cancel armor advantage even in melee. So though these troops have no melee capability, the fact that presumably some of the men are continuing to load and fire even during the melee cancels out armor advantage. So we will continue to fire. We'll wait to close in here. And we will avoid this line of fortifications entirely, of course. Okay, not much else to do at the moment. Push these reserves up to where they're outside of cohesion test range should one of these units break, but close enough to intervene. Okay, that's everyone. Next turn. Passed a cohesion check, which is lucky. Right, bringing these Teppo samurai into the forest is probably a good call. Now he's turning around, but I don't know if he has time to be doing that, to be honest. There's only 6 turns to go, and we just have to sit here. Very Alright, now it can start being really annoying. Again, I suppose. Alright. Maybe we'll come out for some fun. It should be suitably annoying. Okay, otherwise I don't think we need to do anything here. All we need to do is stand our ground. If the battle ends with pretty much this situation intact, that's a victory. So, maybe not very glamorous or honorable, but it would still be a win. Next turn. I have to pull this unit out now. Ooh, interesting. Now some dangerous units are headed back our way. So, I think I will respond to that by running away. Again, all we have to do is survive, and we're doing fine at survival. Right. They're disrupted, but I'm probably not going to charge because then my unit will still be disordered. Well, it's a risk. If I win this, it could go well. If I don't, my unit could itself be broken. Oh, we'll give it a shot at this point. Fragged, which is good, but now we are visible on the edge of the forest and can be shot at, which is less good. Let's risk an emergence here. Okay. Run away. Goodbye. Right. No sense fighting the samurai in the open if they're actually coming out to fight. Especially with these raw and unprotected troops. Right, and that's really all we need to do. Terribly dishonorable, but, you know, do what you can to win. Next turn. Ooh. Ouch. Because we're already moderately disordered, it doesn't really make any difference in the win percent, but it does put us a little bit closer to bad things happening. We could sacrifice this unit or could open fire. I'm actually inclined to sacrifice it. Very interesting. Okay, it's time to get the reserves moving. Do I push this? I think at this point I do. Very good. Oh, hello. All right. Can turn our cowards back around. Okay, good enough. Next turn. That's what I get for venturing into the open. But that's why we have reserves. And that shows just how dangerous it would have been to try to fight in the open. Oh, that could be bad, actually. Oh no. Oh, very lucky. Run away. I hesitate to charge because pursuit could take me somewhere weird. So we'll just see them off with bow fire. This unit may come pursuing this way. If not, we can just plug the gap. I'll shift an additional unit in that direction. All right. Three turns left. Let's emerge from our forest and just start throwing out some more archery. All right. Next turn. Oh, too bad. They did not follow, so we will have to intervene with this unit, which will not fare too well being raw against swordsmen with the general. But that is what it is. So we have to get in there. Normally I wouldn't do something like this, but the battle's just about over anyway, so not really that concerned. These are phenomenal units, although it should be noted that swordsmen get 0 POA against steady spearmen in this game. So if they fail to disrupt on impact, they will get shredded by armored spearmen. Alright. I lied. Not alright. We're going to do this, and then we're going to be done. Next turn. Okay. Toss a general in there. It is time to start being very annoying. Okay, might be time to be slightly less of a coward when it comes to the infantry line. Is it though? Is it? Ah, there's one turn left. We can live on the edge for one turn. Oh dear. Oh no. Well, that's alright. Guess that's what I should have done before. Alright, couple turns left. Next turn. Alright, an unglamorous quasi-victory. But that's survival. Alright, till next time.